Good morning. My name is Luke Kralik, and I'm the librarian here at Tillamook Bay Community College. And we've had some questions about kind of launching the CASAS e-test. So I'm going to kind of walk you guys through that process because it is a little more complicated than the last time, because you can't just log in and go. You actually have to log in as an administrator, prepare some computers to have students test on, and then select the test and launch that. So there'll be two parts to this video. We'll be doing the administration piece where we actually set up the test for the student to take, and then I will show you how to log in and actually launch the test for the student. So let's go ahead, and all of it's browser-based this time. So you just need to launch a browser. Here in the lab upstairs, the site is bookmarked, and it's just etestonline.org. And it'll take you to a screen like this. If you do have, if you missed this URL, please just contact the library or the test center. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to sign in. And that will bring us to the administration page. I think it'll prompt us. So our site is 1688. And go ahead and use the username and password that was provided to you, and that will bring up the test administration screen. And the first thing that we want to do is go to the testing sessions. And this is all before the student tests, so this, you can certainly prepare these before your students arrive, or you can do it while they're waiting. And this will bring up a list of all the tests that we offer. Now generally, under most circumstances, it's going to be either, you've got kind of two main tests. They're sort of pre-test before they start the program, and then when they post-test after their 40 hours of instruction. So if we're here on campus, we're going to probably use the locator and pre-test for ASE. If you're another professor, go ahead and look for your name, but here in the lab, those are the ones we use. But let's say you're up in North County, you're going to want to use the locator and pre-test in ESOL North. That's if they're the new student. If they're a returning student, you're going to want to pick their post-test for completed students. And in this, completed students just means the 40 hours of instruction. So I'm going to go ahead, because we're here in the lab, I'm going to go ahead and pretend that we have a new student. So I'm going to go up here to the locator and pre-test, and I'm going to manage the test. Or start the test if it's your first student. And it's going to ask how long I want to activate these sessions. Because we're a small center, it probably doesn't matter if we leave it at 8, so go ahead and just feel free to do that. That way you know that the test isn't going to end on your students. So we're going to hit continue. And currently we only have one computer turned on in the lab. That doesn't sound quite right. Oh no, we've already got one loaded up. We've already got a session added. But what we want to do is generally when we log up this screen, there's going to be 0 stations, and you're going to need to add stations. So identify which computer your students are going to be using. Here in the lab, they're all numbered. If you have the laptops up in the North County there, you're going to want to have those. They will have some kind of naming convention, and if you have any questions on the naming conventions, just give us an email. So most likely we're going to want to add stations. And this will bring up a list of all the stations that are on the network for the different sessions. So here in the lab, since we picked the UDA's class, which has our lab, we've got all the labs here in the test lab. If you had selected one of the North County tests, it's going to have all the names of the stations that you have up there. It looks like Test Lab 4 has already been launched, but if we needed to add more students, we could certainly just select them and pick Add. Now these tests have been ready, or these stations have been readied for tests, so all 4 of these stations we could have students doing the pre-test. If we had, so that test is ready to go on those stations, if that makes any sense. If we had other tests, we'll go ahead and go back. We could add a post-test on a particular station if we had other students working on different things. But generally, you're going to have a group of students all working at the same part of your program. So generally, you can just manage one test and get those tests ready. So once that's done, that would be on our administrative computer. Now we need to move to a computer for our students to actually take the test. So once we've managed and launched the test, now we need to get the students set up on another computer. So we will just move over to the other computer. And once again, since it's all web-based, we're going to go ahead and open up a browser. Now the test is a little bit different because the test actually has software that has to be installed, and it has to be installed every time to launch the test. And the instructions are a little bit different, so I'm going to show you on both kinds of web browsers, both in Firefox and Internet Explorer. So in Firefox, once again, they're bookmarked here in the lab. We're going to go to that etestonline.org screen, but this time instead of signing in, we're going to administer the test. So we're going to go ahead and select that. In Firefox, either way, we have to launch the test, and it's an independent program. So in Firefox, we have to actually save the file, and we're going to click on the little arrow where it downloaded, and we're going to click it again so that it launches. It's going to prompt us for a security warning, and we're going to run it. At this point, since we did pick station number 4 as a testing site for the pre-test, it knows it's connecting between those two, so our students are ready to go. There is going to be a time difference. Just ignore this warning here and have your student enter their ID number to launch the test. And if we do that, they'll be all set. I'm going to just show you briefly. So that's how you launch the test with Firefox. If you're more comfortable using Internet Explorer, feel free. We're going to go ahead and launch a browser window. Here in the lab, they're bookmarked, and that's eTestOnline. Once again, we're going to administer the test because we've already set up the test. In Internet Explorer, it's going to prompt us at the bottom of the screen. We're going to go ahead and hit run, and it's going to launch the testing software. And here's where our students could enter their ID. I hope that this helps you with the process to kind of get your students up and going. If you have, after watching this video, you have any questions, please feel free to contact myself or Melanie here in the testing lab, and we will do our best to answer your questions. All right, good luck.